Alright, so this is the character I've been working on recently. Um, it looks kind of like an Ulto set thing. It is a Pierce dual wield Primal Strike build. Um, so this allows me to have 50% of damage from what's it called, from Torrent to become piercing damage. I wish I had another 50%. I thought about dual wielding the hidden crossbows, but the flat 1500 pierce damage here is really powerful, as well as getting things like the Sinister Ferocity kind of crossbow. Um, so, yeah, it's like 20% weapon damage and another 50% of the lightning damage turned to pierce damage, or just getting a huge amount of flat pierce damage with higher attack speed and everything like that. So I went with this kind of combo. I want the new components for rings that give me freeze resist reduction, but I'm going with Jackson's Bullet, specifically for the ranged expertise and the large amount of pierce as well as offensive ability. Because I need a offensive ability because it's a pierce damage build, so I need to crit in order to get RR in this build. I have the Blood Signet to get minus pierce resistance because there's only one form of pierce resistance in this build. I'm only using the necklace here, getting Horn of Gander damage, like piercing damage to Horn of Gander, and +1 to all Inquisitor skills, as well as flat pierce damage, which, if you don't know, for Primal Strike always fires both weapons. So if you any flat damage, like any flat damage added to anything that has weapon damage, is doubled for this build, which is always really nice. This just gives me more physical resistance as well as bleeding damage and acid to pierce damage, and I have a little bit of acid damage on the build in places, as well as like total speed, offensive ability, and pierce damage there. Pants I'm using because I need the attack damage converted to health as well as the resistances. The set is the Dari set. It's the new set that basically it's all about converting pierce damage, and it gives me more Inquisitor Seal as well as it gives me a pet, and it's a pet that gives minus pierce resistance. It gives me more damage. Like the problem is like even with the minus 12% skill cost reduction. Sorry. And all the crit damage and everything like that, I still have energy problems right now. I need to do something about my energy problems. These gloves are nice because I can get a 100% attack speed buff just randomly. Boots are good because of the getting me more attack speed when I get hit, and as well as chance to avoid. Shoulders just standard, chest just standard. I went with Vengeance here, and I get that chance to 30% chance when hit, the Chilling Vengeance, which is like a lot of piercing damage and 50% of the cold damage turned into piercing damage. And it gives us slow attacks, which I don't really need because I use Stormbox. Without any buffs, I'm short on Aether Res. So if I get arcaned by an Aether mob, it's going to really suck. I've got res cap on everything else, which is fine. My attack speed is 171% without buffs, which is really nice, so I get a lot of attacks per second. That's part of why I run out of mana really quickly, or energy really quickly. My pierce damage is 8,000 per hand, so that's 16,000 damage basically per primal added to my Primal Strike attacks. My Pierce modifier is 2200 without buffs. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I get 10% lifesteal. Cast speed is nice for my other abilities, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So it's not bad. It's not that terrible. Looking at this, I have 31% physical resist without buffs. And my armor is, I'm at 95% armor absorption at about 17 to 1900 armor. So if I buff up, do this. I'm just under, like I'm at 2,800 offensive ability, 2,800 defensive ability. I want to put more points into cunning. I probably have to put like 5 more points into spirit because of my, as you can see, I run out of energy pretty quickly. Like it goes down. But I'm at 1,700 health right now, 1,900 armor with all my buffs up, which is really, really nice to have my armor up like that. When I have my armor up, not only that, but I also have like I have 336 damage absorption from the Inquisitor's Seal, and all that flat damage, fire damage and stuff is added to like is all added to my other stuff, so it's pretty big. I also have 57% Phys Res on top of all the flat damage absorption I got. With all the buffs up, I'm up to 2,400 pierce damage. It's not that much of a difference. But I'm also up to 24,000 flat damage. So my shots are doing way more damage. Like I'm getting like 90,000 crits per hand, and because each hand's getting a shot in. And this is without even adding in other stuff. On my abilities, Primal Strike's my primary ability. Remember, Torrent doesn't get, like, Torrent is a special attack that happens when you shoot Primal Strike. So, convert Primal Strike does not convert Torrent. The main hand damage and offhand damage are both coming from the Pierce damage, so that's not a big problem. The lightning damage, however, basically only 50% of it is converted. So that's the kind of issue there. Storm Surge is nice because that all that electrocute damage doesn't convert, but the flat lightning damage does. Went for the health here, went for the Aether Pierce Res here, as well as the flat armor, which is nice, and the defensive ability. On Inquisitor, I'm pumping more points into this because that's basically double damage. Because all of that damage adds to my Primal Strike. It all becomes Pierce damage on my Primal Strike. This I thought about putting more in because that physical damage does become Pierce damage, but I don't really have the extra points right now. Stormbox is there because that allows me to get minus 135 defensive ability, so I can crit more often. So it basically gives me closer to 3,000 crit. The damage, the lightning damage, is also converted to, what's it called? Lightning damage is converted to Pierce damage, with like 50% of its Pierce damage. I get a lot of offensive ability here, as well as physical resistance, which is really nice. That's how I get so much physical resistance. I have this at hard capped because of the piercing damage, as well as the flat piercing damage and the attack speed. And I need to put more points into Death Sentence to get minus Pierce Res. And 50% of the elemental damage is converted to Pierce damage. Took this because it's dual wield. I want more health, more recharge time. On my devotions, I have Horn of Gander attached to this because that'll not only give me more armor, more like it heals every time I use Horn of Gander because it's 100%, but it also gives me these buffs, which is really nice. I have Turtle Shell to go with my Prismatic Diamond for like kind of an oh shit moment. For flat RR, I'm using Scale, so when something hits me, they get their flat RR. I just spec'd over, so everything's low level. Primal Strike I use with this, so I can constantly get it to proc over as much as I can. Every 1.9 seconds, it basically procs. This procs all the time off of Word of Pain, like it just constantly ticks it over. This procs pretty much for, like, I always have the Shadow Blades out because of Stormbox. Stormbox is always proccing it. And I have another source of flat damage reduction with Crab. So this build is ultra tanky. Like, it's designed to face tank stuff. Because Horn of Gander reduces all things damage by, so it's a 25% damage reduction on top of all the other stuff it gives me. So I've got 25% damage reduction, 57% Phys Res, high armor at 95%, and a lot of flat armor reduction. So I should be able to face tank most things in this game. standing on top of this, if I pop all this stuff on the totems, damage is pretty good, but again, I start running out really quickly of energy. Oh, and I can also have 5 seals out because of my thing. See, now I'm out of energy. There's nothing I can do about it. Now I'm basically shit out of luck. So I need to do something about my energy consumption right now. So that's something I'm going to work on with my last few levels. I've got 6 levels to go, plus Hidden Path quest and all the other stat points. I am not very deep into the game right now. I haven't finished. I just started Barrel Home when I got to 94. I haven't even done Hidden Path yet with this character. So there's a lot to finish building on it, but I'll put a link in the description below. But real quick, just to look at how it looks versus some enemies, I'll go jump on Warden Krieg real quick. It's not the fastest runner, but it does a lot of damage. I thought about doing this as a not a spam version, but like the one-shot version. But the Pierce makes it better as a spam. So I'm just slowly working my way through here. See how it looks versus Warden Krieg, because the biggest problem right now is the energy, because Ravager's basically going to murder me because I don't have enough energy to maintain my constant attacks. So that's something I'm probably going to have to invest 5 of the next 10 points into energy, or swap one of my things over, like maybe get a use what's it called?
I've been expecting. When I'm done with you, I will
And Krieg's already currently down.
my true power.
And his second phase is down. The damage is ridiculous on this build. Like, it just mows through everything. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll probably give an update at 100 if I have a chance. I really need to focus on my writing right now. I've got one more build I'm working on right now, and I've got it all together. I just need to buy the components for it and see how it feels.